Hey guys, this is Boyfriend, and this is an information-dense video about my strategy to winning Eggwars. Before I begin, yeah, my Minecraft username is Boyfriend. You can look it up if you want. But anyways, I'll begin by talking about how I know the strat works. If you trust to know what I'm talking about, I left a skip button right here for you. Also, this was done in post 1.9 PvP Eggwars. This guide should work for 1.8, except for the section about OP mode at the very end. Also, I am assuming you already have a basic understanding of this game. Now, just to show you the odds of winning a game, here are the solo stats depending on the number of players in the game. To find out where you lie, just take your wins and divide it by your total games. Anyways, here are the team stats depending on the number of teams in the game, and here are mine. I don't play team games, and I'm not that great of a PvPer, just to put things in perspective, and this shows just how effective the strat can be for you. To further show and know what I'm doing, I've also traveled enough blocks and killed enough players to sprint from San Francisco to the city of Key Largo and kill everybody there. This video is kind of lengthy, so I have cut it up into manageable chunks listed below. Now, I do recommend you watch the entire video. Even though there is a dedicated tips and tricks section, really the whole thing is filled with them. I just felt it would be best to organize similar ones together. Anyways, let's begin. I'm going to share with you the biggest, darkest secret I have behind my strat. Are you ready? Because I'm pretty sure you're not going to believe it, but
don't go for the egg.
Crazy, right? But trust me, the egg is the least of your worries right now. It is just a substitute for the player, which is the real threat you need to be dealing with here. Get rid of as many threats as possible before going after an egg. Instead of thinking about breaking eggs, your main focus of the game is to get and seize the means of production from everyone else, monopolizing the good generators all for you. That's the bare bones of it all, so let's go through how I put the strat into action. I begin each game with the Moneybags kit. On most maps with a level 1 generator, this will give you about a 13 iron head start, and on Safari you get a 20 extra iron head start. The worst the kit can be worth is 10 iron, and this is all because of the extra time you get from upgrading your generators a little bit earlier than everybody else. Now these are good compared to the other starter kits, but in hardcore mode, egg armor is a much better choice because the armor is stupid expensive and it'll cost you 80 iron. The golden apple kit is also really helpful in hardcore mode, but this is all up to preference. Also, I'd like to add that the debuffer kit could have some use in like really tight PvP situations, but that's really only during the end game, and I could really rarely see this working out too well for you. Let's start the game. Upgrade your iron generators ASAP and also collect from your gold. Size up your neighbors and watch what they're up to. Determine which ones are going to become an issue later on. If they are standing with no armor and have a default skin, don't worry. Anyway, here's another tip. Don't upgrade your gold generator. Instead, get 2 to 3 gold apples and a chain chestplate. We aren't going to be spending much time at the island, so we need the gold spent right away in our gear. Get leather armor to go with your chain chestplate, a stone sword, stone pick, blocks, and a few pieces of steak. If you're on OP mode, instead of spending the gold, you're going to upgrade our generator and not get a chain chestplate. Instead, buy 2 to 3 sets of leather armor, 2 stone picks, a stone sword, steak, and blocks. I'll go over why later in this vid. Before leaving the island, determine what kind of map this is. There are 2 types of maps in solo Eggwars, tournament style and central style. Tournament maps have a little congregation of islands with a generator in the local middle and a central area, while central style only has a central area with generators, but no congregation of islands around a local middle. I listed all the current maps here, but there are a few special cases as denoted by the asterisks, but I'll go over those later. On a central style map, look at your neighbors. Has anyone started to build towards the center yet? If so, wait for them to get closer to the center, and then rush them, destroy their egg, buy any gear you get from the generators, and if they're going back to their island, wait for them to get off the bridge and eliminate them from the game. If they're still at the center and you can see them, go and kill them. It is important they are killed because they have gathered a number of diamonds at this point. If no one has left yet, then go build the center yourself. If you're in a tournament style map, check if anyone is already at the local middle island. If no one has even started going there yet, build to the local middle island and then either run off to the center to grab what is there too, or you could rush someone you feel like will be a threat. This usually depends on the map. On maps like Snowy, I will run towards the center and grab items from there, but on maps like MLG, I will rush my neighbors before even going to the center. Do not make bridges connecting your base to theirs. Instead, build a new bridge from the local middle. If people are already at the local middle, kill them and then go after their egg. Do not go after their egg first, or you risk them building up, destroying your egg, and cashing in the diamonds or gold they have found. If 2 people are already at local middle and fighting each other, do not join them. You should never interrupt anyone fighting. This gives you an advantage while they're fighting. Break one or both of their eggs. Once one of them is dead, quickly kill the other while they are still healing. You can now finish them both off, and you have the local middle to yourself, and you should now be building towards the center. Focus on killing people who got there before you, but don't devote too much time on this. If someone gets away, you should head back to an island before they come back with better gear. If no one is there, use this time to gather diamonds and gold. Watch out for other people and take any note of someone trying to reach the center. Once you have about 10 to 15 diamonds, I usually will leave if others are approaching. But if no one is making an effort, I will stay for a little bit longer. Head back to a villager and purchase iron armor and an iron sword, but never buy an iron helmet. It has the exact same stats as a chain helmet, and the 5 diamonds can go towards something a lot more useful. Only buy an iron helmet if you need to conserve your gold and have an abundance of diamonds. At this point, head back to the center and gather even more resources and kill anyone else there. At this point in the game, half the people should be eliminated by now. After getting enough resources for a bow, buy one with punch 1 and 60 arrows. If you have any left over, get a diamond sword, but this isn't really a priority. Look at all the other players that are left and figure out which ones are going to be the most dangerous to you. People who have managed to get diamonds and are camping at their base should be rushed ASAP before they have enough diamonds for a bow, unless they will have one already. If they do, save them for later. Do not go for easy or newbie targets, and don't go after eggs unless there isn't much else to do. Go for the people that are getting geared up. Usually if there are a few people I find dangerous looking on the map and I kill one of them, I will go after the other dangerous guys first before trying to eliminate that guy from the game. This essentially buys you time while they recuperate from their loss. Once no one is a big enough threat, then you can start eliminating the easy targets you created. Players should almost always be killed before getting their egg. If they are not killed before destroying their egg, you risk them camping out at an island, being all annoying with a bow, or getting even better gear and killing you. Eliminating others should be easy now, since if you have done everything correctly, you should have kept other players from farming the diamond generators in the center. Once you have eliminated the non-camping players, then you can go for the campers. Save it for an ender pearl, and carefully get to a position where you're 110% sure the ender pearl will land you in a good spot. I usually go for the side of something tall on their island, such as a tower or tree. You should land behind them and quickly bow them off. It's a piece of cake after this. Bonus points if you say, teleports behind you, nothing personal, kid. So far, this is about 50% of the strategy. The rest is a multitude of tips for dealing with certain situations and some map-specific stuff. I will also explain what other strats suck and how you can combat them. Okay, so let's say at the start of the game, someone is building to your base right off the bat, the rusher. Don't worry about them and continue getting your resources. Your egg is already gone, but they're already dead. Kill them once they reach your base and don't build up after them, or you risk getting hit off by them for an embarrassing death. Take their bridge back to their base and break their egg, but not without employing one of my best tips for the game, building the wall. Once you get close to their base and they're waiting for you to cross and attempt to hit you off, quickly build a 2 to 3 block tall wall in front of them, and then place a couple of blocks behind that wall. Build up and continue going this way till you're at their base. This strat is by far the most helpful one I can give you and is used many times during a game. And not only gives you a safe way to their base, but because of the extra blocks you place behind it, they cannot escape without first buying picks or blocks, which will take too much time once you are there. It also goes without saying, if their egg is protected by obby, cover yourself in blocks before breaking it, otherwise they will just punch you and be an annoyance. Here's another strat that makes me cringe. Getting geared up and hopping from island to island, upgrading your gear the farther you go. This does get you a number of kills and you do get geared up, but once you reach endgame and it's just you and the one guy who actually went to the center, the other guy is just gonna look at you and say, when you were rushing, I studied the blade. When you were building clay bridges, I mastered the punch one bow. While you wasted your days at the islands in pursuit of for eggs, I cultivated the diamond gen. And now that the world is empty and I am at your base, you have the audacity to call me a hacker? The best way to combat this strat is to, well, go for the center, because chances are they're more interested in island hopping than actually winning the game. Let them have your egg, you don't need it. Don't try attacking them on their bridges, as that is where they are the most dangerous. This is probably the most common strat I see. Some games, I'm the only guy that actually tries to get to the center. I just don't get it. Another annoying player is the bow spammer, and to go along with them, the low-level bow camper. I've already detailed how to combat campers a little earlier, but some bow campers camp close to center and just annoy everyone else who tries to get there. When they bow camp just to bow camp outside of their island, I call them low-level bow campers. This is really detrimental because the camper is too focused on just hitting people with his bow with little chance of knocking them off instead of getting more items, ignoring their generators just to hit people. It also prevents other people from getting to or from the center, which is a valid thing to do in the game, but when it's all you do for long periods of time, you're just being an annoyance and not letting the game progress, which makes them last forever. And you also risk actual people camping their dimension at their base to get even more buff. The best way to beat a spammer or a low-level camper is to have a bow yourself and catch them off guard. Do not start a long-distance bow battle, as they take a lot of time, eat at your durability, and open you up to surprise attacks from people who could build behind you. But if they're in a sketchy spot and you can easily get to them, get as close as you can before they notice you, and once they do, build a wall right behind you. Just spam click the hell out of the place. You cannot be knocked off, and if they don't have anything behind them, they'll eventually be knocked off if you haven't done so already. Usually when I play, I like to make sure there is something behind me at all times, and if there isn't, build a wall. Bridges are really dangerous. Watch out for anyone with a bow before crossing one, and if you see someone taking one, position yourself to where you can bow them off. I also suggest to build a wall whenever you get off a bridge, because then the next person taking it will have to build or break blocks to get past it, which gives you an opportunity to bow them off even if they have a shield, because they'll have to unguard to do anything. Also, whenever you build a bridge, the safest thing to do is to build up and then out. This way, if someone is behind you or waiting for you at the end, they first have to build up to get to you, which buys you time to notice and knock them off. It also makes it so that when you reach your destination, people can't easily take your bridge back to escape from you. Make sure you build high enough so that no one can break the blocks underneath you. Oh, and make sure you're close enough to land on the island before safely jumping off. Additionally, if you're knocked off, try to place a block where you can land. This can make for some pretty clutch saves. Just be sure you're careful before getting back up. Here's a dirty tip I call misdirection. If you see someone starting to run across a bridge and you have a bow, pretend you don't see them by running away, but watch them by pressing F5. Once they are further down the bridge, try hitting them off. If you try hiding instead of running away, they could see you do that and not cross the bridge to begin with. Another dirty trick I have involves circles. If you're chasing someone around an obstacle, you can catch up to them by running adjacent to them in a tighter circle. Since your circle is tighter and you two are going the same speed, you'll eventually catch up to him and get a chance to hit. For this reason, if you're ever running away, run in the tightest circle possible or in a straight line. One more dirty trick is something you should all be familiar with. Wait at someone's island and don't break their egg, but hide. Have your bow ready and knock them off once they are almost to their island. Wall it up and then you know what to do from there. Don't get excited and chase after someone or rush. Think one step ahead of everyone else. Watch your step. The other guy could have a chest with a bow waiting for him at his base, or could be breaking the bridge from underneath you. Remember, no one is dead until you see the death message on screen. Sometimes you might knock someone off only to find out later that they lived by landing on a ledge or ender pearling out. Sometimes they glitch and don't take knockback or rubber band. If you die for whatever reason and someone is at your base and you don't have a chest of goodies waiting for you, the last thing you should do is punch them. So many people instinctively start to spam hit the guy going for their egg, but this is a very bad idea if you can't knock them over the ledge. What's even worse is trying to break the clay cage they made while breaking your egg. This isn't going to do anything, and by the time you break it, your egg is gone. Countless times I've seen people try to kill me, but once their egg is broken, they run away, as if they had any other thing else to do. You will not kill them, even if you get leather armor and a stone sword. What you should be doing instead is buying blocks and running away during your 10-second grace period. The moment you start punching someone, your period ends. You will get a good amount of distance between you and the other guy while your egg is being broken, which also gives you a chance to quickly run by any generators at the middle before finding an island you can flee to. Whenever I have to go buy stuff, I like to go an island next to mine instead of my own. This is because if someone were to attack, they'd have to choose between attacking me or my egg, instead of getting to take a swing at both. Additionally, this can also position you to where you can knock someone off with a bow easier. You may have noticed I didn't even say anything about protecting your egg yet. And well, that's because this strategy is about not dying, so we don't really care much about our egg in exchange for extra time. Now let's talk about choosing your weapon. I highly recommend choosing a sword, because jumping to get crits times perfectly with the sword's cooldown. Axes do a lot of damage, but you have to be extra sure for your hits to land because of the longer cooldown. But even when the math is done, swords do more damage per second than axes do. The iron sword is more harmful than the diamond axe at peak performance. Similarly, here are a few armor notes. Leather and chain boots have the same armor value, but not the same durability. You should only wear chain boots in OP mode where durability is more important, but you should never need an iron helmet when you can get a chain one, since they have both the same armor value and durability. Also, if you have a chain chestplate like I do many times at the beginning of the game, you should first get iron boots and leggings before upgrading your chestplate to iron, because this will give you more armor points than if you upgraded your chestplate and ignored your boots or leggings. Finally, slowness arrows are an underused item in the game that gives you a huge advantage during PvP. It makes them an easier target to hit off with a bow. The more expensive god apples are also very useful, especially in hardcore mode when they're only 10 diamonds. I usually only buy them when there's tanky people left, or I suspect someone else has already bought huge golden apples. Usually people who've camped for a long time have got a few. One thing I've really failed to mention up to now is the changes you make to your strategy in OP and hardcore mode. In OP mode, you do upgrade the gold generator and ignore the chain chestplate, and this is because the protection enchantments make you super OP and it takes much longer to kill you because of it. When you run low on health, eat gold apples and you'll be good to go. They heal you faster than the potion regeneration, which is why you should never use that kit. Since you are harder to kill, you take more hits, which also means your armor will break before you die. But since the protection is what makes you OP, it's important you carry an extra set or two of armor to replace what will be destroyed eventually. For this reason, sometimes it's more effective to spam click to break the other player's armor faster than time hits, especially when they are a better PvPer or in double or triple health. For hardcore mode, definitely use the egg armor kit to save the cost of 80 iron to get a full set of leather armor. Get to the center as soon as possible and use the extra gold to buy gold apples and a stone sword. Protecting your egg is more serious in this game mode, so at least cover it in clay once you have a few items. You don't regenerate health naturally, so you only need to eat to be able to sprint and not starve to death. However, this also makes people naked rushing you and punching you with their fists a much bigger threat, because if their egg is intact and yours is broken, they could rush you to death because you don't have any golden apples to regenerate. This game mode is more of a novelty, so that's all about I can really say about it, besides, don't die. Now, let's talk about a few map-specific things. On Tentacles, usually you'll upgrade the gold generator right off the bat, even on normal mode. This is because the only gold gens are at the islands. Sometimes I'll even buy iron helmets because gold is super scarce. On Tropical, if I have emeralds, I'll buy the poison arrows. If I'm in the middle of fighting someone, I will hit them with an arrow to give them a poison effect. On Safari, there is a level 3 diamond generator on top of the zebra. Not too many people know about this, so I can camp up there for ages and also hit up the gold generator behind it. Elven does have diamond generators off to the sides of the islands, but they're pretty useless when the level 2 gens aren't that much farther, and they have gold too. The people who camp at these tiny islands can be easily targeted if you think they have upgraded it and are saving up for a bow. On Technology and Construction, I like to rush the islands next to me, since it isn't too far from reaching the center. Finally, on Candy, you don't get a gold generator off the bat, so I usually run from generator to generator and upgrade the one closest to my island and use that one for supplies. I will also usually upgrade the diamond gens on the 2 closest generators once I've eliminated the players they're connected to. And also, when I start the game on Candy, usually I'll only buy a little bit of steak or no steak at all and no pickaxe, because you need to get to the center even quicker, and there's cake lying around that you can just nibble on when you get hungry. Lastly, here are a few mods that will help you out. The 5-Zig mod and Gamma Bright are the 2 main ones that I use. 5-Zig gives me a potion and armor HUD along with my ping, FPS, and current RAM usage, while Gamma Bright brightens everything up so there are no shadows and is toggleable. Both are allowed on CubeCraft, and I posted proof of this in the description, along with links to the developers page. A map mod could also be helpful, but I have no use for them and keep mine disabled on CubeCraft, and I use Vox on them for reference. While they're allowed, you cannot use the radar function to find players. Instead, use the compass item to find people who are hiding from you. Damage indicator mods are also allowed, but I don't use them, but I might try them someday because they do seem pretty helpful. And that's about it. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it pretty helpful. I did forget to mention a few tips, but I really didn't want to go back and add them into this video. But maybe if this video gets enough attention, I'll make a second video that has all those tips in it too. But it's whatever. If I do upload a second video, you could like subscribe and you'll know when I have it. But yeah, thanks guys. Oh, and before I go, just take this video with a grain of salt. I don't exactly follow this strategy religiously, but just take what works for you.